So my name's Todd, and I'm working on some eco development, doing balance and some other stuff. And we went over the tech tree in the blog this week, so I'll be showing you some of the stuff we covered, and maybe we can fit in some other stuff as well. But yeah, so we'll start off here in this bedroom, take a quick peek outside. You can kind of see some of the new stuff we've been building. Little fountain over there. But let's go check everything out. Uh, Here you kind of see the shot we saw from the blog with the fireplace and the statues. Some kitchen, refrigerator. Looks like someone built a nice little pond out here. But yeah, so what we wanted with this furniture in the housing improvements is previously it was pretty easy to cap your housing score and the amount of experience you got from that. So we want to really make sure people progressively need to get better and better stuff. And so you can see there's new tables, new benches, all this kind of stuff. And let's see what's in here. Oh, look what it is. For some reason, the high-day requested toilet. Everybody wanted it, and it's here. And you see we have new asphalt roads. Uh, Way too much content to really cover it all, but you're getting a little sneak peek of it. Something we did not cover in the blog is the new research system. So you can see how research is done now is through research papers. And each specialty can kind of contribute their own research paper. And certain research requires specific stuff, like for carpentry here, it needs dendrology research papers. But other more advanced stuff actually needs a combination of different research from different specialties. So there's a lot more collaboration that's happening, excuse me. So part of that is with the work parties. So people can do a giant research project together. But that's a big thing we're looking at is expanding on the research. And here we can kind of see the crafting. It's a little bit different now. You'll see here's an example of a tagged ingredient that can accept multiple products. There's a bunch of them here. Anything with this kind of grayed out background is a tagged ingredient. And then on top of that, we have some variations. So we have the hewn bench, which can take any kind of hewn logs or boards. But then we have the specific variations. I don't have carpentry, but I can still start the craft. So you can see we have hardwood benches and softwood benches. Now functionally they're the same, but it gives you some nice variations for looks and things like that. So I'll keep moving around. And I'll check in with chat periodically, but I'm just going to do a quick overview of everything first. So up here, we'll just keep moving. We'll see up here, move up the nice asphalt roads. And let's see what's up here. Up here, you can see I've kind of made a gigantic farm. Probably more bigger farm than anyone actually needs. But I'm going to show off some of the new tools. So I'll go ahead and look in here and grab everything. We've got a pretty big collection of farming tools. So I'll go ahead and pick these up. And then these are some of our existing tools, the steam tractor, the harvester, soil sampler, things like that, but I won't show them just yet because they're already in the game. So here's how this system works now. So we have the hoe, the traditional hoe. It's pretty slow. It does the job, but it's going to take a lot of time. And then we progressively get better ones. This one's still just one square at a time, but it's a little bit faster. And then as we move up, we're going to see a little bit of AOE start to come in. And it's not super sensitive where you click. You can see I'm not quite doing it all the way, but if I were to, it goes a little bit longer. So it's going to be twice as fast as the traditional one. And then even still, we have the modern hoe, which is really fast. You see it does really long lines like this, excuse me. So it's going to be more than 3 times the speed. So this can really help make some mass farms here. And then I'll go along to harvesting, which is a similar thing here. We have the old way, where we're just hitting one at a time. It does the job, but it's a little bit slow. And then we have the same system here, where we have a little bit faster. With the steel we have some AOE, so it's doing 2 lines at once. But now we'll check out the modern. This thing is quite a tool. So we have 3 lines of crops here. It's actually getting all 3 at once. So it's much faster. Don't have to spend nearly as much time harvesting. And something nice about this too, tomatoes, which we don't want to destroy when we're harvesting, they're actually not affected. There's little graphics things going on, but as you can see, all the tomatoes are still there. So, no need to worry there, and if I do it directly, nothing's going to happen. But I will show a little bit more. Let's say you've progressed beyond just using the manual tools and you want to see some vehicles in action. Here's our harvester. So I'll go ahead and start driving. I actually have to turn on the harvester. But this thing's super quick. You just tear through this, harvest everything. And the nice thing about this one, it actually does affect the tomatoes too. So you'll get a collection from this as you go. So there you can kind of see the farming progression. We have other tools too, like the sower, the planter. I'll just do a quick show of the planter. So whichever seed you have in here first, it's going to plant. So I'll plant some more wheat seeds to replace what we just took. And you see, I turn it on. Oop, I have to actually turn on that's a little weird. But you can see it's actually planting them as I go. But I'll go ahead and show this one later. There we go. Now they're starting to pop up. But like I said, we'll show that one later. And I'll just take a quick peek at the chat here. Slight echo, excuse me. Let's see what I can do about that. Give me 1 second here just to deal with this echo. Let me know if that's any better. I adjusted the sound a little bit. Do we still have an echo here? I'm not seeing any feedback on that, but let me know. But I'll go ahead and keep moving. Alright, so we'll keep moving on. For this one, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I have a little waypoint over here. I wanted to go to the jungle. Let me find it real quick. Where is that thing? There it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually teleport over here. So there might be a little bit of delay as I do this. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to have to load for a second just because I pretty much just teleported across the entire world. But I set up a little chest over here where we can see some more tools. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the tools I have now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and grab these. We have some bows. We have some machetes. And I'll start with the machete. Because you can see as I'm moving around in the jungle here, I start to move really slow. This is actually not the most dense spot, but these really dense areas of the jungle, it's a pain to move through. So we have the machete now, which can kind of just quickly clear through all of this. And you see, it takes no time at all. And this is good for a variety of purposes. If you're clearing out to build, if you're making some farms and you don't want other plants encroaching. And this also has the same system as the other AoE tools, where we can get more modern ones that just tear through the jungle. And so there's good things about this and bad things about this, because as you're clearing it out, it's actually clearing out the ecosystem as well. So it's kind of a trade-off, but it is nice to have a nice cleared area like this. And so that's the machete. There's plenty of uses for it, but just wanted to show it off real briefly. And you'll have to forgive me on this next one. So we have the bows. I will admit I am not the best hunter, but I will do my best to try and show you the bows. But before we find any animals, you can see this is like the wooden bow here. It has a significant arc, not the fastest bow here. And as we move up, you'll see the arc slowly starts to decrease. The firing range. Here's the composite bow here. You see it's almost completely straight, and boom, look at that, how fast it goes. So hopefully I can find an animal here to actually hunt with, but like I said, I'm not the best hunter in the world. Oh, I got one. But yeah, that's with the modern bow. So if you're a skilled hunter, which I gave myself to give myself a little bit of a break, this thing's really going to speed up the process that you can hunt. And to accommodate this as well, we did put in some increased animal health and other bonuses to them. So it's not going to be the same situation where just any person can pick up a random bow and go hunting for all the food needs. And I'll take another quick check at chat. I'm a little quiet. I did turn it down to try and compensate for the echo, so I'll print that up a little bit again and see how that works. But yeah, I got one. Happy about that. I wasn't expecting it. And some other stuff to show off. So we have a whole new skill system now. You can see they've put in some really cool art here. And these here actually change the skin tone based on what your character is. So these are matching what I have now. But as you see here, this is the carpenter specialties. There is no hewing anymore. We have composites now, so I know this was a big question. What happens to hewing? Because we moved hewn logs to logging. So the answer is carpentry is now responsible for making lumber. They make a ton of furniture too, but logging is now the entry-level carpentry profession. Excuse me, I'm stuttering here. So it's kind of shifted a little bit. So you can go ahead and pick logging first. You're going to help a lot with the building materials. And then once we get carpentry, which actually does require research now, you'll be able to make some of the more advanced furniture. And once technology progresses, you'll be able to make lumber too. And so chefs, I can't really show off all the recipes just now, but we have a ton of improved recipes for cooks. And we've done a little bit of reworking of baking, where it's not so dependent on advanced cooking and other things. We gave a lot of bonuses to calories they provide and other things like that. So they should definitely feel a little bit more useful now. And same for advanced baking. It's something we want to continue to improve on, but it definitely got some love in the next patch. And we'll keep moving on. Engineers, I mentioned the basic engineers getting some major buffs. They have new roads to make. They have, there's a new road tool even, and they get the calorie bonus now for making road tools, because before it was kind of, they made a road tool for everybody and anybody can use it equally. So now we really will see the basic engineers being the road makers. And everything really got a little bit of adjustments. Electronics has more recipes, things are reworked a little bit. Industry has more stuff. And oil drilling, one of another really cool changes that was requested. We actually get the barrels back now for certain things. I know it was a big requested feature that we don't consume barrels for everything, or at least we get a refund. So that's in there now. And we'll keep moving along. Farming, we kind of showed off some of the new tools they have, but these are continuing to be reworked. Milling has some new stuff too to help with advanced baking. Hunting we kind of covered a little bit, but butchery is a good one to talk about because it's true for a lot of professions. Now you really need to specialize in something. So before, anybody could just kind of be a butcher, go hunting, but now you need to have the skill. So it's really going to encourage more interaction, things like that. And just like everything else, we have some new recipes there as well. Masonry. So this is pretty significantly different. This is another requested one. You see bricklaying's actually gone now. It's replaced with pottery, which does still make the bricks, but they have additional other recipes. They're the one that actually makes the toilet and other stuff made of porcelain as well. But we've expanded on that one, so it's not just like you're only making bricks now. And masonry is another one that's changed significantly. So they still make mortared stone, and they're good for building materials, but now they also make cement, or concrete I should say. I always mix those two up. But so they actually progress. They have a beginning ability, and then as technology progresses, they're going to continue to make more advanced materials. So the nice thing is it doesn't go obsolete, but also someone new can hop in later in the game, pick up masonry, and still be productive. And then, as we talked about, there's advanced masonry now. You can see this actually has a ton of recipes. I'll try and get them to pop up here. There we go. So new furniture, new building materials, things like that. And that goes with composites too in carpentry. But we're kind of really focusing on the end game content. So I know those kind of fell off a little bit before, but now they'll be able to stay nice and useful throughout. And we'll keep moving on. Smith is really changed now. And it's kind of too complicated for me to talk about completely right now. But we have a whole new mineral processing system. And smelting now produces slag, which is a new byproduct. But for those, I think we're going to save for now and talk about them in more detail when we go over the mineral processing. And survivalists, not really too much change there, so we'll skip that. And tailoring as well. That's another one we really want to expand on in the future. And we have expanded on the uses of cloth, but not a major rework there, so we won't go over that one too much. And that's kind of the main changes to skills. I'll check in with chat one more time. Let's see what people are asking here. Do we add more recipes? So we have new fish, we have new uses for kelp and things like that. But fishing is a big one we want to add on to in the next coming updates. We have a lot of ideas in mind, but for now we're just kind of adding new fish, new fishery recipes, things like that. And lag is a big one that we're improving on. It's not so much related to this blog we're talking about right now, but it's a huge focus of 9.0, so there's going to be some major performance improvements. And I see that's another comment there as well. But yeah, cooking is one of my favorites, so I'm really happy it's getting some extra attention. But it's another one that we're going to continue to improve on because there's a lot of places it could be improved. And changes for smaller groups. So part of this update is to encourage more interaction between the different professions, but at the same time, we have a special setting that's new for smaller groups. So it's like a slider you can adjust. So it helps not only with how long it takes to learn new skills, but how much resources it costs for recipes. So I know like in the past with small groups, there was so many different minerals you had to gather, all these things like that. So it's going to be a lot easier for smaller groups now. And we're also going to try and customize that, so there'll be some preset settings. And let's see what else is going on here. Maybe I don't have the best picture. Get a nice view of the jungle or something, or the skills. New soil types, that's another one we're expanding on. Right now it still is just the standard dirt, sand, clay, things like that. But we're going to be looking at fertilizer. Unfortunately, that one didn't make the full remake into 9.0, but there's some slight changes, and definitely that's an area we want to expand on as well. And let's see here. Feel free to keep asking questions. Happy to answer. Looks like I maybe got most of them. I see I have a robo voice. I'm not sure if that's me or the stream, but fertilizer is boring. Yeah, fertilizer needs some attention, that's for sure. And it got some, but it's something we're continuing to work with. And in terms of release date, it's approaching, but we're not ready to actually say when that is yet. It's getting closer, but we'll continue to keep everybody updated. So, and let's see here, tailings. Tailings are really different now. And again, that's one we'll cover more in the mineral processing. But smelters don't even make tailings anymore. It's actually now created from processing minerals, refining ore into concentrate, I should say. And improvements to handling the environment pollution. So the pollution is going to be a major thing now. In 8.0, or update 8 throughout, it was kind of like you didn't really have to worry about pollution too much, but it's something you're really going to have to keep an eye on now. there's more sources of pollution. Some things pollute a little bit more. But for tailings, I would say don't have to worry about them so much. In terms of how many are produced, storing them, things like that. There are more potent tailings, the wet tailings, but we've heard feedback and we've made some adjustments there as well. Animal AI, that's actually not my department, but I do know that's something that's being worked on heavily. So I can tell you, yes, something is happening there, but I can't tell you exactly what. And are we getting higher skill level? I'm not 100% sure what that question means, but there's more things to learn with your skills. There's more ways to increase your skill ups through furniture, food, things like that. So maybe that answers your question, but I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. But if you have a follow-up question, happy to answer. Seeds rebalance. Too many seeds. So we definitely are looking at seeds. We have that on our roadmap, but it's farming in general is something we want to continue to rework. We have lots of ideas there, but not all of them are making it into 9.0, but there will definitely be some improvements. And health and hurting the player. So we kind of like in eco that there's no health per se. It's kind of replaced with calories, but pollution will affect that too. Pollution affects the food, which is needed for calories. And we even have some predators now. So that's another thing we have to worry about that now. And that will affect your calories if you get attacked. So you got to keep an eye out for them. And with the bow, I'm kind of just sitting here. But that's another use for the bow now to keep those predators away. So something to keep an eye on. I think the area I'm in now is pretty safe, though. I don't see any wolves or things like that. But there are new animals, too, which means new predators. So that's another exciting thing to check out. And forgive me, I'm just kind of running in circles here because I'm reading the chat. But carbon dioxide become more dangerous. Yes, it will. Oh, the echo's going on again. Shoot. I'll have to look into that more a little bit later for the next time. But carbon dioxide, there was kind of a thing in the past, 8.3, where the trees absorbed way too much pollution. And so we took care of that. So not only is there more pollution sources, but you have to do more to manage it, or it can start to get out of control. So I'm seeing the echo here. Let me try something again. I think when I turned it down, it was better. But it might be a setting I have. I apologize. It's been a little bit of a while since I've streamed, so I'll make sure to get that fixed for the next time. And I'll see. I'll turn it down a little again, see if that helps. But let's see. The delay is so okay. Good. I'm glad it's not too bad there. So the biggest rework. That's a good question. Honestly, I would say it's the skills because I'll pull up that window again. Not only are there new skills and remade skills, but part of the bonus from skills completely has changed. So in the past, when you leveled up, you got a higher resource reduction when you're crafting, but it did kind of create an imbalance. So somebody new who joins, it's so hard for them to catch up because they're going to need more and more ingredients. So people that are higher skill can just sell it for cheaper and kind of keep them out. So that's changed now. We have upgrade modules, which go into tables. I didn't set that up for this stream, but maybe I can just show it really briefly. So I'll just put a random crafting table here. I'll put a carpentry table. And then I'll put just a random basic upgrade in here. So you can see there's a spot to put in the module, I'll go ahead and put that in. And you can see decreases resource cost for the table work orders by 10%, decreases craft time for the orders by 10%. Those are things that used to be gained for skills. And so now it's actually into the table themselves. And you can see everything that's getting a benefit has this little green box to indicate that. So there's two main reasons for that. One is the reason I already mentioned, but another one is we have work parties now. So that means someone can set up a huge order at their base and just have a request for people to come work on it. And anybody with the skill can just come help, contribute labor, get a little reward for that. And The main difference now between the skills is, I'll pull it up again, oops, wrong button, is you can see calorie bonuses. Now it's different for each one, but carpentry is kind of basic, so that's the only one it has. So each progressive level, two things happen. You unlock new recipes, and then all recipes require less calories to contribute. So there's still major benefits, but it's not the kind of thing where there's going to be a big imbalance between different levels. It's more like your skills improve. You can make new stuff, things like that. And we have talents here. I don't have any unlocked, but that's always there too. And part of that, I think I mentioned it already, but uh, is there's not so much of an option to be like a jack of all trades. There was a lot of things that all you had to do was just kind of research, and from that point on, anybody can craft it. An example I would say is bricks. So as a result, many people didn't even bother specializing in it because they could kind of just collect the materials and make it themselves. So that's no longer the case. Everybody, almost every recipe requires research now. So that's another pretty significant part of the skill rework change. And I should probably get in a better area for. I'm just kind of standing here. Maybe I'll move myself back to town really quick while I answer more questions. And it'll be a little bit of delay here as it reloads. Oh, yeah, see, it takes a little bit to reload here, probably because I've been moving around so much. But oh, look, it's a wolf statue, another one of our new objects. There's a lot of them, so it's going to take a little while to show them all. But let's see what else we have going for questions. Um, Fix polluting by smelting deep underground. Sorry, I'm trying to understand that. Will there be a fix for not? So deep underground, it does still have pollution reduction, but it's a little bit harder to actually smelt underground now because of the new mineral processing system. Um, and smelting happens above ground traditionally. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a fix because we kind of want it that way, but the pollution system is very different now. I guess I missed a wolf earlier, but yeah, maybe he didn't see me was what really happened. Um, Information, how many active players, that's again not my department, so I don't know. I know they do have stats about that, but I think the game is doing well. And yeah, you can see we have the Asphalt Roads now, and this is just the first implementation of the Asphalt Roads, but there's some other cool stuff coming too, like lines in the road or things like that. So this actually just made it in today, so you're barely seeing it. But more is coming there too. I know that was a highly requested feature. And let's see what else we have. Microphone feature, that's actually already there. And it's one I would love to see more. Some closed servers use it, but yeah, we have a microphone feature now that is proximity based. So if you want to start using it, feel free. I would love to start seeing that more. And new weapons, I actually showed them off already a little bit. I can just quickly show them again. It is still limited to bows, and we probably might expand that later, but you can see here's the wooden bow, the primitive wooden bow, not so great. Huge arc, slow firing, doesn't do a lot of damage. And then here, the recurve bow, a much longer range, less arc, fires much faster. And then the modern bow, wait till you see this. I showed it in the forest, but it's almost easier to see here. Boom. It's like it's gone as soon as you fire it. So it's really helpful for hunting long range and just accuracy, things like that. Um, Animals avoiding, they tend to avoid populated areas. I know they kind of still do, but they do run from people. Uh, and the bows might help take care of that too. Um, Coming ported to PS4, so we're not doing ports just yet. We want to get full release first. It's something we consider, but it's not something that's in progress right now. Um, let's see here. That might be most of the questions happening. Let's see if there's anything else. I think I covered most of the questions. What happened to existing saved games? So it will be able to migrate. You can bring your old world over, but a lot of things, there's so many new features, and one of them is the law system. So if you do migrate a world over, you're going to lose some stuff. You're going to lose the laws, like demographics, things like that. but all your in-game world and objects, that'll still be there. So you definitely still have that option, but there's advantages and disadvantages to making a new world, so it's totally up to you. And I haven't fully checked out this place yet. Looks like they made a nice room with golden floors. But I'm trying to see if maybe I can get some more peeks at the new furniture here. But yeah, the QA team did a great job making these houses. That's not something I'm capable of doing. So another fireplace here with some statues. Looking good. Looking good. And fountain there. Bison statues. Too much to go over everything, but just want to give you guys a peek. Um, let's see here. More mining machinery. Yeah, that's definitely coming. We kind of talked about it briefly, but there's a whole new range of mining machinery coming. We'll talk about that later because there's a dedicated blog and stream for that. So we'll go over those, but that's definitely coming. And what is the building to the left? I might have already passed it. Is it the Capitol building, that gigantic Capitol? Yeah, I think this might have been showcased already a little bit. I haven't really even explored this whole world yet myself. I'll put my bow away. But looks like this is where they have, oop, maybe not welcome in here, staff only. But these are like government buildings. It is a pretty massive building, so I'm tempted to check it out. But it looks like some places are just for staff. Not sure what that means, but yeah, more government objects. These are all new. We kind of went over them briefly, so I won't go into too much detail. But it looks like that's what's going on in this building here. And there's a court in here. Yeah, like I said, they did a great job setting this up. Let's see what else. A lot of questions I think we may have answered already. Changing colors, that's a great idea. That is a great idea, but it's not something we have just yet. For clothes, you can change the colors, no problem. But for things like rugs and what's the other one? Your truck, we can't change colors just yet, but that's a great idea. That's something we could definitely consider adding. But for now, it's just your clothes you can dye. And it looked like a bigger elevator. I'm not sure where that was. We do still have the elevator. I don't think we have a quite bigger elevator yet. But something I can't show in this stream just yet that is coming is bigger stockpiles. I know that's a highly requested one too. So not only is it bigger width and diameters, things like that, but it's bigger height. So you can be able to stack more objects in at the same time. If you meant this building, it's distribution station, so you can actually put text on here. This is for distributing new items to players. Will we ever be able to place objects on rugs? Maybe one day, but not just yet. There's some issues with stacking things. For example, like stacking two rugs on top of each other, things like that. So it's definitely something we consider, but it's not coming just yet in 9.0. Yeah, I knew the bigger stockpiles would be popular. So they're not finished just yet, but it's definitely something we want to get in there. I know that'll be pretty popular, so that's why we're adding it. And I'm trying to think anything else I should be covering in terms of the tech tree right now. Looks like a nice garage in here. I think I covered most of the things from the blog. I'll just peek through the skills, think if it can jog my memory. But I think we pretty much covered everything. So if any other major questions, happy to answer. Boats, the infamous boats. They are in progress, but I can't really say anything more than that. Honestly, I don't even know myself because it's not my department. So, but I know that everybody wants those boats, so we'll see about that. But don't take anything I say on that because not my department there. And when do you train in the game? So training happens two different ways. So everybody starts with a specialization. Sometimes they're called stars here. I've been playing on this world quite a bit, so I actually have 4 already. Normally you just start with 1. But there's certain professions that start off locked, and for the purposes of this stream I unlocked all of them. But you progress in technology through the research table, which I was showing off, which is a little bit different than the past. So once a technology is researched, the person who researched it can learn it and learn the skills, but they also have the option to share it with other people as well. So that's kind of how I can't say that word, technology progress happens. So that's how training happens. And even with the work party, we actually have a system now where people can go in on research and everybody contributed automatically learns the skill. So that's kind of another nice thing about training now as well. And what are the hammer symbols for? Let me pull that out. Now again, this is one I'm not going to go over too much detail just now. Unless you meant hammer symbol in here that I missed. Oops, wrong one. Hammer symbol. I'm guessing it was something else because these are just like pictures of everything. I'll go over this super briefly just to get an idea in case this was your question. But yeah, when you have the hammer out now, there's a whole bunch of different block shapes, types of fill types. So yeah, that's a little sneak peek. I'm not going to go into more detail than that. But hopefully that answers your question about the hammer. Oh, when you open the table. Gotcha, gotcha. So this is another one that is, I keep saying this, but it's coming in a future blog, stream, I should say, both. So let's craft something. What can I make here? I'll make a board. And sorry, I know I have a super loud keyboard, those mechanical keyboards. So once I start a project, and what these hammers are, is actually labor required. So that ties into the skill updates I was talking about. As you skill up, it's going to require less and less labor. And you see, I've added the resources, but the project's not actually moving yet. So what needs to happen is I need to add labor, which will, you can see, it starts to expand here and move along now that labor's been added. And that took quite a little bit of calories. And again, we'll go into that more, but just wanted to give a quick sneak peek and talk about how the hammers work. So yeah, that's what those hammers are. So we have animals that attack, but it's just not, they don't take experience. What it is it takes calories. That's kind of our equivalent of health right now. But it's an interesting idea, something to consider, but we don't want it to be too punishing at this point. Oh, and no, you don't have to stand there. No, 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 no. We'll show that more, but you can queue up a big project and add labor. You can add as much labor as resources you've added, and you don't have to stand there. Hopefully that answers that. Walkie-talkies, that's another fun idea, but not just yet. Um, okay, so one other question. We're kind of moving more into the labor section now, so I'm not going to answer too many questions here about that. But for mass producing, a large part of that is with the work parties now. So yeah, you can add a ton of ingredients, add a ton of labor, but also what you can do is set up a work party for other people with the same skill to keep coming and adding labor to keep the project going. So it's like an extra layer now to crafting. But we did remove the option to just have a gigantic crafting order that just is endless and you can add endless ingredients. So there's a little bit more interaction needed right there. But I wouldn't say we've removed the option to have offline crafting. It's just a little bit different now. And let's see, paper we're expanding on as well. There's not too much expansion just yet, but we have a lot of ideas there, and even future ideas for how to make paper. So that's something we're expanding on, but it's not a huge part of 9.0 right now. So hopefully that answers that. And I'm not sure if we have too many more questions coming in. I think we got the big ones. And I know I've said it a few times, but I'm just running in circles here in town so you can get little ideas. But what is with new road working? So road working is actually not too different. The difference is previously the roads were just split out all over the place in terms of specialties, and the road tool, like I said, could just be used by anybody with the same benefit. But now the road working is exclusively with the basic engineers. So they make the dirt roads, they make the stone roads, they make the asphalt roads, and the main thing we want with that is so they're useful all game. So it's not like you just pick basic engineer, you contribute the basic stone roads and things like that, and then once the game moves on, you kind of get replaced by the people making the asphalt roads. So we've changed it, so they're useful all game now. And they have some new crafting stuff as well, not related to roads. So basic engineer should be a lot more fun now. Cooking I went over earlier. So yeah, we have a lot of changes to cooking, but I'm not going to go over them again, but tons of new recipes and some slight changes to how they interact, things like that. But I do think we'll see more baking. And traffic signs, that's another one that we've actually talked about, how fun that would be, but I don't think we're quite there just yet. We're focusing on the roads for now, but it would be a really fun thing to add. Maybe in the short term we'll just have wooden stop signs or something like that, but it would be a really fun idea. Baking recipes are cheaper, more calories. Some have more nutrients. I saw that baked vegetables in particular seem to be really popular, but it's another one. I know baking needs attention, and it got some, but it's something that's going to continue to get more attention. It's a big thing that I would want to focus on particularly, so it's still coming. Improvements coming in more in the future. And how you rework how the vehicles are not too changed actually. They're pretty similar in terms of how they work and things like that. So I'm not too sure what that question means. But vehicles, they work great now. Maybe the pollution they make is a little bit more impactful, but not too much changes with vehicles. And resting in the bed, I can show you that really quick if I can find the bed up here. By most servers it has actually no use. So on this server here, which is considered a multiplayer server, because there are other people playing here, you can see when I go to sleep, it says fast forwarding disabled on this server. Now if you're playing with a small group of friends or by yourself, you can have this enabled, which actually makes it skip time. So plants grow faster, you skill up faster, crafting projects complete. So that's what the sleep function is for, but you're not going to see it too often on a multiplayer server. Reduction. Oh yeah, so there's plenty of the labor will help with calorie usage a lot at higher levels. From my experience in limited playtesting, the raw food was in demand the entire game, so it seems to really be needed more now. But there's other ways that calorie usage is increased at the higher levels as well. So that's something we're aware of, and hopefully we've made some good changes for. And change the move on ladders, not so much tech tree, so I can't really answer that for sure, but I do know what you mean. So hopefully they'll be coming in, but I actually can't answer you definitively yes or no for that one. And animal husbandry, another one. Highly requested feature, but not quite making it to 9.0, but it is on the roadmap for down the line. So I know the new blocks, and actually this isn't even everything. They look a little slightly off. Maybe you can't notice because we've made a ton of changes to forms. So there's even more coming than just this. But yeah, tons of new blocks. That one gets its own blog and stream because it's too much to cover in this one. And hopefully you're happy with this view of the town. I keep going back and forth. I am impressed with it. I like these houses, so I don't mind keep looking at them. And they did a great job with the roads, the garages, everything. There's some good builders. Not my forte. Yeah, we might be wrapping up pretty soon. It was a good length stream. I'm not sure if any more questions are coming in. No, I did not build any of them. You would not want to see what I built, trust me. So, no, I just took the buildings they made. And it's a decent size. We're a small development team, but we have a lot of people, so I know that's kind of oxymoron there, but I can't give you the exact number, but we're a decent studio. And different color rugs. The different sizes have different color rugs. We actually talked about this earlier. We don't have the option to dye just yet, but there are different colors based on the different types of rugs. And yeah, I think that's about it for the stream, everybody. It looks like the questions have started to slow down. So really hope you enjoyed tuning in. Any other questions, feel free to pop up through the Discord or anything like that. I'm always there. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. We're really looking forward to everybody trying it out for themselves. And yeah, have fun. And it's great working on this with everybody. All right, well, have a great day.